And we are live.
Yay.
Okay, so today, just a reminder of what your clay setup needs to be. A board to work on so we don't get clay all over the tables. You can get your clay out of your named bag. Keep your bag. You'll need it. Got a tiny bit of water in the pot, not so much. And remember, we don't want this to go all sloppy, so just little sprinkles of water while you're working. We've got a satay stick to scratch with. Remember, we do our scratching, our slip, bit of water, and then our smoothing, which you can use with your fingers or your tool, which is what we were practicing last time. So what I want you to do is we're going to make a pinch pot. So I want you to make your bird. I want you to get your clay that you've already got and make a big sphere, big ball. So you can roll it around like this. And then, it's really fun, you stick your thumb through. We don't want it to go all the way through, but we stick your thumb in. So it looks like that. Okay? Yeah, this is called a pinch pot. So what we do then, we put our thumb in and we have our fingers on the outside and we pinch around. And as we pinch, we are turning your clay around and you can see that is making the hole bigger. Yes? So we want to get it, but we don't want to get thin like this because that will just snap and break. So we want to keep it quite thick. This side's really nice. I'm liking that. If you want to make it a bit deeper, you're pushing down rather than squeezing up here. You're pushing down into the sides here. Once you've got a cool pinch pot shape, you can turn it over and give it a tap and you'll find that it'll go nice and flat. I can use a little bit of water on my fingers if there's any cracks, just to make it beautiful and smooth. That's looking a lot nicer already, isn't it? Then what we're going to do is this is going to be because it takes a really long time for a big ball of clay like that to dry out, and sometimes it doesn't go so well in the kiln. So we've made our bird hollow. So now we're going to turn it upside down. And this is going to be the base of our bird. Here's one already that you can see that's already spent some time drawing out. So now we're going to add the wings and the head and the eyes and the beak. So this is where you'll need a bit of extra clay. So we're going to make a sphere for the head, rolling the ball either between your hands or like this on your board. And I'm going to pinch out one of the sides of the ball to give it that beaky look, okay? And then I can use a little bit of water just to smooth the shape around and give it that birdie sort of shape, okay? So patting your clay bird. There, bird. Make it nice and smooth. Okay, we don't want the beak to get too thin like this because then it starts tearing. So leave your beak quite thick, okay? All right. Now, so our heads don't fall off our birds, we need to do the scratching. So do the scratching on here and on the head. So both parts need to get scratching. Then you put a little bit of water till it goes shiny like that. This is almost like, imagine it's like the glue. Okay? Then you push them together like this. And what I want you to do, you can do it with your finger or your tool, is I want you to smooth the head and the body together so that you can't see the join. Can you see that?
No.
So this side you can see the join. This side I've smoothed together. So actually picking up clay from the top, the head and the base, the body, and we're joining them. We're pushing them up, flicking it up, and joining it.
Do birds have necks?
Not really. Okay. If you want to, if you're finding it's a bit wobbly, you can make him a little scarf. Like a coil, a mini coil. And you can do that scratching on the back of his neck and scratching on here. A bit of slip, and we can put a bit of clay on here. And then we can smooth that in. So it gives a bit of extra clay for that join.
That is smart.
Yeah. And then your head is much more secure and it won't fall off. All right, now comes the fun part. We get to make 2 little spheres and we're going to flatten them a little bit, like a little pancake. And we are going to squeeze one end to make the wing shape. So slightly pointed at one end. Does that look a bit like a wing? Yeah. So you would make 2 of them, and I'm going to put my wing on here. So I'm going to scratch, which is called scoring in clay terms. So I'm going to score both parts of my clay, little bit of water on both to make the glue, and then I'm going to smooth it on. Okay? Nice smoothing action. And just check you can wiggle it and make sure it's joining properly. Okay? Now, then you can add eyes. Now, these ones have got little eyes like this, like they've made little spheres and put holes in them. Or if you like the other end of your satay stick is really good for doing eyes. You can actually just push it into the sides of your head like that.
Oh, that looks better.
You like that?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
That's not creepy.
Then what you can do is use the end of your satay stick. You can make that little line in the middle of the beak.
The other ones were creepy because of this.
Can you guys see that we're working in 3D, so I have to do the other side as well, right? Because it's not 2-dimensional, it's not flat, it's 3-dimensional. So I'm going to join. Yeah. Now when you draw into the clay, you get little balls of the clay coming off, so just make sure you smooth them. Okay, now the fun part, you can add a little bit of a tail if you want. Just again, make sure it's not too thin and you've joined it properly. And then I can give you a little piece of pasta and we can start to make little feather patterns into your clay by pushing into your clay.
That's a waste of pasta.
Well, I've been using this pasta for years. I bought this pasta in 2014 and we use it whenever we do clay, so it's pretty good.
Never eat that pasta.
No, don't eat it. It's just for clay.
That's gone out of date.
It sure has.
Yeah, it has.
It would have, yeah.
Definitely out of date. Wash your hands when you have this pasta.
Okay, shh. Just mindful, guys. We're still filming. Now, does anyone have any questions about what they need to do? Yes, Flynn.
Well, this is a bit of, well, I just wanted to know, are we allowed to make the bulgy eye thingy?
Yes. You can give it the personality and character you want. Yes.
I'm not being rude, but I don't really like the idea of the pasta because I don't really want any germs in my hand.
There's no germs, it's just dried. But if you want to draw your feathers on using the satay stick like this, you can do that. Just be mindful that you need to get rid of the extra clay. So if you want to do a drawn pattern in yours, that's fine too. Yes, Auden.
Are we allowed to make a nest?
We're going to actually attach them to a tree branch. So we'll see. We'll make all of this and we'll see if we've got any time. So,
Don't scratch too deep because it might go through the bottom.
yes, that's why we've got this nice and thick. So we're just surface scratching, you're right. We're not stabbing it.
Don't go like too deep on
Yeah. Now what I'm going to do is once they're finished, is I'm actually going to put a hole through them like this and through the back so that we can wire them onto the tree branch. So we will end up being able to put some wire through that to hold it on the tree branch. Clever, right? And the other thing that I'll do is we will put our name. I'm just going to put Power More in here.
Power more.
We'll scratch our names so we know whose is whose.
Okay, it's a bit hard to read.
It does get a bit hard to read, and after it's been in the kiln, it gets even harder. So the other thing we're going to do is put our plastic bag down and our clay with our name next to it, and we're going to take a photo.
Oh, that,
So we know we can check with the photos if we're not sure whose is whose.
if you reverse your
Clever.
name, it's more power. If you
All right.
reverse it.
Yeah. I'm going to stop filming now, guys.